Okay, so today's lesson is on translating words and symbols into expressions and equations, and we will be translating phrases into variable expressions and word sentences into equations. So to solve problems using algebra, you must often translate phrases about numbers into expressions containing variables. So we have this lovely chart here. We're going to go over some more common phrases. So for addition, remember that addition is commutative, which means that the order doesn't matter, okay? So I'm going to try to do these in the order in which they're written, but just remember with addition, it doesn't really matter. So the sum of 8 and x, so it will be 8 plus x. Whenever you see the sum of, you might want to think about putting that in parentheses, because whatever's happening to the sum, these have to be in parentheses because it counts as one thing. A number increased by 7, so that would be n plus 7, and 5 more than a number. I could write that as n plus 5 or 5 plus n, okay? Subtraction is not commutative, and so the order matters, okay? The difference between a number and 4, okay? This is going to go in order. The difference between a number and 4. And again, when you see the difference, you might want to put that in parentheses, okay? Because there might be something happening on the outside to the difference. A number decreased by 8, so n minus 8. 5 less than a number. This one's tricky. Think about it. 5 less than a number. So I have a number and I'm taking 5 away from it, okay? And 6 minus a number, it just goes in order. Okay, multiplication, again, it is commutative. Okay, so the order doesn't matter. Again, when it says the product of 4 and a number, this may end up being in parentheses. Okay, 7 times a number and 1/3 of a number. It could be that, or it could be n over 3. Notice that the number is always in front of the variable, except in this case. When you're multiplying, the number goes in front of the variable. Okay, and in division, the order matters with division as well. Okay, it is not commutative. So the quotient of a number in 8 is in order, n divided by 8. And again, you may want to put that in parentheses. A number divided by 10, that's in the order in which it's given. Okay, so just be very careful about these. Think about them before you start writing stuff down. Okay, so here's a caution. Be careful with phrases involving subtraction or division. 5 less than x is x minus 5, not 5 minus x. 5 more than x can be either 5 plus x or x plus 5. Remember, addition and multiplication are commutative, so the order doesn't matter. Let's look at our first example. It says, translate each phrase into a variable expression. So 3 less than means I'm going to be taking 3 away. Half of x, I could write it like that, or I could write it like that. I'm going to just write it as 1/2 x. So 3 less than half of x. Half the difference between x and 3. So here's a situation where the difference between x and 3 is x minus 3, and I'm going to put it in parentheses because it's half of the difference, and this whole thing is the difference. So half of the difference is going to look like that. Okay, again, order matters. When we say the difference between x and y, we mean x minus y. Also, the quotient of x and y means x divided by y. And there's 2 different ways that we can write it. Okay? Example 2, if the length of a board in centimeters is L, and this should be like a cursive L, then what is the length of a board 7 centimeters shorter, and what is the length of a board 6 centimeters longer? So here's my board, and it's equal to L. And then I have a shorter board, and so it's the length of the first board minus 7. And then I have a longer board, and it's the length of the first board plus 6. Okay? The back. Formulas. Formulas are often used in algebra, and they are equations that state rules about relationships. So here are 4 common formulas. You should have seen them last year in pre-algebra. We have the area of a rectangle, the perimeter of a rectangle, distance traveled. This is also referred to as the DIRT formula, D equals RT, and cost, which is the number of items times the price per item. Okay, so we'll be using these formulas. So let's look at example 3. It says, find the area and perimeter of a rectangle with length 10 and width W. Well, we said that area was length times width. My length is 10. My width is W, so this is my area. 10W. Perimeter we said is 2L plus 2W. My length is 10, so 2 times 10 is 20. My width is W, so just 2W, so there's my perimeter. And I'm just writing these as expressions for right now. Okay? So we're going to be using variables that are going to be in our solutions. Okay? Example 4. You and your friends buy 2 pizzas at P dollars each and 4 salads at S dollars each. How much do you and your friends spend? Okay, so this is the cost formula. So if you have 2 pizzas and each one costs P dollars, the total cost of the pizza is 2P. If you have 4 salads and each of them costs S dollars, the total cost of the salads is 4S, and if you add them together, that gives you the total of what you and your friends spent. And example 5, you travel H plus 1/2 hours at 80 kilometers per hour. How far do you travel? So this is the DIRT formula, okay? So you're looking for the distance. So the distance is equal to the rate times time. Well, my rate is my speed, which is 80, and my time is H plus 1/2. So I could leave it like that, or I could distribute the 80, and it would look like that. Either one of those is correct. All right, so that's it for phrases. Let's look at equations. All right, so applications of algebra frequently require you to translate word sentences about numbers into equations. Sometimes you can translate the words in order, and you may need grouping symbols, okay? So the key for this is look for your equal sign, and your equal sign is going to be is, or was, or will be, okay? And I don't know what those are called in grammar, but look for those things, okay? If you have more than one is, figure out which one is the right one, okay? So here we have twice the sum of a number, and 4 is 10. So there's my is, there's my equal sign. The cool thing about this is all the words on the left-hand side become numbers and variables on the left-hand side of the equation sign. And all the words on the right side of is become the numbers and variables on the right side of the equation sign, equal sign. So this is going to be equal to 10. So then now I have to translate this. So twice the sum of a number and 4. So if you know anything about grammar, we're looking for twice the sum. Okay, so it's 2 times whatever the sum is. Well, the sum is a number and 4. So n plus 4 in parentheses, because this whole thing represents the sum, and you're taking twice that. So 2 times n plus 4. I don't know what this is, a preposition maybe? I'll have to ask Mr. Buckingham, okay? But you're twice the sum, and so that this goes in parentheses, okay? Example 7, when a number is multiplied by 4 and the result decreased by 6, the final result is 10. So there's my equal sign. So we're going to have equal 10, okay? When a number is multiplied by 4 and the result, so the result of this, the result of a number multiplied by 4, so that would be a lump there. So we would say 4n. And since it's already multiplication, I don't have to put it in parentheses. But this result, this whole thing is decreased by 6. And the final result is 10. Okay, example 8. 3 less than the number x is 12. So there's my equals 12. So 3 less than the number. So I'm taking 3 away from the number. So the number is x, and I'm taking 3 away from that. And example 9. Use the figure and the information below to write an equation involving x. Well, look, they give us the perimeter. Okay, we can't use the perimeter formula because this is not a rectangle, it's a triangle. But we know that the perimeter is equal to the sum of all the sides. So I can write 14 is equal to 4 plus x plus 4. And I can simplify that. 14 is equal to x plus 8. Now, you could also have x plus 8 is equal to 14. Either way is correct. All right, example 10. It says, choose a variable to represent the number described by the words in parentheses. So there's my words described in parentheses. Write an equation that represents the given information. This should be and here's the equation. Here's the sentence. The distance traveled in 3 hours driving was 240 kilometers. So here's your was. It's not an is, it's a was, but that's going to be your equal sign. And it's 240 kilometers. So this is my distance. So on this side, I'm going to have my rate and my time. Okay. So distance is equal to rate times time. Okay, my hourly rate is what I'm looking for, and I'm just going to use R. and I need to multiply the r times the time. Well, there's my time. It was 3 hours. So 3r is equal to 240. So the distance traveled in 3 hours was 240 kilometers. So the distance traveled is the rate times the time. So there's my equation. All right, to try this. No, there's not just one. You've got an entire back as well. Okay, so the first part is about translating phrases. Okay, so 1 through 5, you're going to be translating the phrases. Make sure you use the chart, okay, to help you with that. Be careful with your subtraction and your division. 6, 7, and 8. It says complete each statement with a variable expression. Now I'm going to do 6 for you so that you understand how to do 7 and 8. Okay, so number 6 says the sum of two numbers is 25. If one number is x, then the other number is blank. The key is you need to describe the other number using 25 and x. Okay, so think about it. If I have the first number plus the second number, it gives me 25. The first number we know is x, so plus the second equals 25. So the second number has to be 25 minus x, okay? So we say that we've described the second number in terms of x. So we have one variable, we can only use one variable right now, okay? So I have to write my other number in terms of x. So if the total is 25, and I take away the first number, I'm left with the second number. Okay, so that's how you come up with that. So you're going to do 7 and 8. You're going to use, make sure you read this so that you understand the relationship, but you're going to use 8 and p somehow. And here you're going to use d and 1/3. But think about this one. This one's going to be a little bit trickier. Okay, and then 9 through 12, you're looking for your is, and you're going to translate these into an equation. Be careful with 11 and 12. They look like they're the same sentence, but they're not. Okay, so you're going to have two different equations with that. So you might want to do those two together. Okay, make sure you show all of your work on your paper, and then you're going to put your answers into the Google form.